The Terminator strides up the walkway only a minute behind the prey. We hear his heartbeat, easier to do on stage, probably. Bob-um, 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 a steady volume of oxygenated blood pulses through his body. Bob-um, 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 bob-um. The prey stumbled over a box in the alley, crashing onto the rock-strewn torn-up pavement. His heart raced so fast it sent butterflies up his stomach to his throat. He wished he had time to puke. It would have felt nice. His heart was working overtime. If his heart gave out, even for just one of his brief spells, then he would die either by the hand of the crazy gunman, who steadily tracked him, or by a massive heart attack. There's a fine line between creating a strong atmosphere for your story to live in and overdoing it. Don't overwhelm the reader. Keep the reader at the moment. Let him or her live within the pages of your book. Don't get too literary to create a strong sense of not just character or theme, but also story and plot. It's not bad to create an unpredictable, even high-paced plot. Just create a world for both your reader and your characters to live comfortably in. Don't let them exit into the harsh realities of the real world when they have no choice. You ever notice that after a good movie there are often clips from bloopers after the credits, or interviews, or discussion about a series' overall plan, or a movie? Chances are if you hated the movie, you would pack your stuff in your bag, and get back into the real world, and deal with your real-world problems. If the movie delights us, we may refuse to leave that delightful setting that created for us so much love for the atmosphere of the story. I've seen many people remain seated as the credits rolled on the screen, happy just to see those names and words. Once you enter a world you love, and have developed a hunger for, even small snippets of bloopers, or an alternate ending shown at after the credits can help you ease off the addiction that haunts you. Once you have drawn the reader into your highly charged story world, it is essential to keep them there at least for long periods of time. So you continue to create an environment using the elements of fiction as material for building your setting. Atmosphere comes mostly from how their setting is described. It also can be drummed up into a powerful tool to involve the reader if you give your characters conflicting emotions. When you pile up details that suggest of something in the atmosphere such as, she rounded the corner at full speed, huffing until her lungs spat fire. He had pulled her into a shed, and then pressed himself against a wall. He dared not breathe. It knows where we are, Ted. His whisper echoed so loud he expected the door to come crashing open, and those sharp incisors snapping at them in anticipation of its next meal. But the lynx was leery. It approached within 10 feet of the shed and stopped. She froze, her body trembling. Had he made too much noise? That was it, too much noise. He held his breath as the lynx prowled the schoolyard. Stopped August 22, 2021. Philip Sidney, A Defense of Poetry. An essay he counters Puritans on fiction, making up stories for morals. To make stories up by asking what it is history teaches us. Example 2 is Roman emperors' names. Bad one lived a good long life. Good one murdered by his own men when he was young. 27 years old. The argument is that it's hard to make any sort of lesson from history stuff just happening. Fake news interview. The White House wouldn't approve of you voting Republican. Democrats might not be afraid of some bipartisanship. Bipartisan? But Senator, that strange beast dropped out of D.C. when H.W. left office. Why Republican? Go independent at least. Stability returns at the end of the book when he either becomes president, or realizes God might have made him for this situation, a shoo-in. Or the stability might come later in the book when he loses the election as planned, and goes undercover as a shadow to Joey bribes Biden. Maybe Trump becomes president and wipes out the cabal, fake news, Hollywood elite, CCP, Iranian hostiles, perhaps Russia, the central bank, Fed, or Rothschild trillionaires. When Donald Trump fixed the domestic problem, the situation stabilizer, but it destabilized when PLN ships were spotted at a dangerously close West Coast, near Newport, Oregon, and rumors of more near Vancouver, BC. Barack Obama hid within Donald Trump's shadow. He journeyed into a deep sea. It hid his woke thoughts. He traveled then into the shadows of a thinly wooded edge of an anonymous forest. An ex-president surrounded by Secret Service agents couldn't get any more alone than this. The quietness of the thinly wooded edge of the forest relaxed him. He breathed in the fresh mountain oxygen. He pushed an annoying, pitch-plastered fir branch from that obstructed his view. Still, their actions puzzled him. Then it happened. It didn't just happen, it happened to him. A pulse beats within the body of a story scene, alive. Perhaps it's a regular beating pulse. Maybe the scene works best or requires an irregular rhythm. An irregular pulse can be as exciting as a typical beat. Often in stories, the rarities offer the most interesting options for character, plot, and theme. A regular beating pulse that beats steadily and strongly could create an atmosphere for your story scene of all things working for, and along with each other to create with great strength the future happenings or plot of your story. A constant beating of a strong heart somehow embedded into your story can have a tremendous influence on atmosphere. A strong heartbeat notifies the curious reader that someone within the story is physically, mentally, spiritually, or socially forward-moving and strong. Usually, anyway. The pulse of the scene might contrast the rest of the story's elements if its strong forward-moving presence pops up in a story where the rest of the elements of the story are opposite. Usually, this is the situation when you have a strong character chasing a weak, scared character whose heart pounded irregularly. Sort of like a Terminator movie.